Chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. If he stays onside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Sells.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Goals Eye View. It's a little bit makeshift my end this week because I'm actually on holiday, but because I'm so committed to Goals Eye View and Torquay United. And if we do have any Wi-Fi issues, I do apologise as well, but we should be okay. But luckily, we've got three of us. We've got Dom, Chris and Clive with us this week. How are you all?
Good evening.
Good.
Nice to see you again, Dom.
Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, glad to be back. Yes, nice to have a bit of a break.
Yeah, of course, yeah, no,
Things.
I forgot, of course. Dom, nice if you have just introduced Dom again actually to this channel. He hasn't been on for a few months. Yeah. You know, he's not that important.
Yeah.
He doesn't
If the viewing figures take a nosedive, then kind of...
If you've only watched it for 3 months, then you've got no idea who this bloke is. But
it's like getting a new player, isn't it?
Yeah. I'll do my best.
So we haven't done Goals Over much of the summer because we like to sort of keep it at minimum. We actually forgot we were a Torquay United channel for the last few weeks, to be honest, with all Dorking and all stuff from Farnborough today going on. But we talk about Enfield. Also, we'll just quickly say about the fans forum, and obviously because we recorded in the night it was happening. We had a few comments about it. So just mad, isn't it? Don't want to go too much because it's all been covered, but like just the money that Gary Johnson spent. We're all saying it, weren't we? We're all saying about the budget last season and all that. Any thoughts, like Dom, Chris, Clive, anyone?
Well, the main thing was the budget, wasn't it? I mean, This new squad is what, 40% less costly than last season?
Yeah.
I mean, that's unbelievable, isn't it? So
about twice as good by the looks of it.
Yeah. And it's not like it's half as good as that squad, is it? So, yeah, the money spent last season. I think we always thought that Gary Johnson was backed at the start of last season, didn't we? It just shows what a pig's ear they made of it all, from the ownership to the management, doesn't it? It's really reinforces that even more than before. So.
I agree. I think it just backs up what everyone's saying. Just nice to actually see it and nice for the club, and all the visions sound great, really. So into the Enfield game, especially at half time, I was so happy. I was so happy that I was seeing a Torquay team that was sort of set up to play possession football, but quick possession football, and just be dangerous on crosses and set pieces, especially. And the latter, set pieces, is so important, because there will be games this season where we can't have possession and create much on boggy pitches and Tuesday nights. And we look dangerous on all of them. So I'm so positive about the way it's going to go. But we'll start off with Dom. What were your thoughts about the sort of the game in general?
We conceded that early goal, didn't we? So before that, it's a real celebration of being back at Playmore. Everything felt positive, didn't it? It was a nice sunny day. We met for drinks. It was great to see everybody at the pub and all that going on. I did say I think it was Carl at the pub before, maybe we'll concede after 5 minutes because that's a Torquay type thing to do. Came
Classic,
after 4 minutes.
Classic, wasn't it? Everything's positive, so everyone's going to witness. It's going well, new season, go behind in the first 5 minutes. I
think the goal they scored was kind of typical one you concede when you've got a new team, because I think the midfield kind of left it for each other. I think Hayfield should have got it, and then he left it for somebody else, and they kind of nipped in, got it over to the left wing, and it was a really smart cross, Chris, wasn't it? He could have missed it, but it was right on his head, and he glanced it firmly into the corner.
It was the classic, the striker keeps moving when the defender stands still, wasn't it? Because if you look, watch Folston kind of reacts, by which time the bloke's already got the run on him, and it was good. It was a good cross.
It was a really good cross and header. But they didn't panic after that, and I don't think the crowd did either, did it? It was almost like, shake it off, let's get on with it. The crowd started to make noise again, and
me and Dad just looked at each other and smiled. It was just the most Torquay thing ever, wasn't it? It was like, oh, crikey.
Yeah.
I mean,
but they didn't let that get them down for long, did they? And then we scored, 10, 15 minutes later? I mean, Carson impressed me from the start. He was getting down that left wing. It was all coming down that side. Generally, I thought we were pushing down that side with Folston as well. It's lovely to have two left footers, give us balance on that left-hand side. And they were causing trouble, and Carson got down there. And I think eventually he got on the end of the set piece, and he kind of miskicked it, and it came off. You thought it came off Brad Ash, but I think it came off a defender.
Well, having seen it again, it can't have come off Ash. Well, if it did, because he was, having watched the replay, he was comfortably offside, because he reacted straight away as if to kind of celebrate it's my goal. But
Was he trying to
Oh,
steal the
easily.
goal?
Yeah, definitely with his reaction he was. But if he was a couple of yards offside, so he's definitely hit somebody. But we'll take it.
But the set pieces were great before that. I mean, Omar Musa was on them, wasn't he? He was whipping them in with great speed.
Yeah.
That was making such a difference because we were slowly fading in crosses all last season that weren't coming to a lot. He was whipping them in with great speed, and that's where it came from eventually. And that's what got us back in the game. And we sort of built from there, didn't we, after that in the half? But yeah, the amount of crosses, I think, was so notable, as you said at the start, Sam, wasn't it? We put in so many good crosses.
I love football like that.
More goals.
I love football like that. Clive, from your point of view, obviously you weren't there. You're in Croatia, enjoying
No,
it.
mine was very, very much a remote experience for me. I'm making a habit of this because I missed the Avon game as well, would you believe, last season. No, I've been on holiday. I could have watched the first half on the stream, but I was having a shower, so I missed nearly all the action, quite honestly.
What were you going to say then for a second?
Well, by the time I get down to the hotel bar to watch the second half, the stream's dropped off, hasn't it? So I did see Seymour's disallowed goal, and I did see Hammond's excellent point-saving saves at the end. But yeah, I am relying on other people's accounts to tell me what happened on Saturday, but it all sounded very nice.
Yeah, and then one of the highlights of the first day of the season was seeing you and Matty enjoying a cocktail. Anyone who sees Clive on a radio knows he likes a pint. That cocktail looks extremely exotic for your taste, Clive. Was it good? It looked it.
Very much so. They were similar cocktails. I was on a BBC, which included Bailey's, and Matty was on the banana something or others.
Oh.
Banana coladas. That's what it was.
It looked very good.
Both yellow tinged drinks and very, very tasty. Yeah,
Excellent.
Thank you. Good. Yeah. I mean, you know, if I could do that 46 times a season, I probably would.
I thought there were three players who stood out for me. Carson, as Dom's mentioned, because that's just I think what struck me is that you think how much we tried to play through at the back last year, and the massive difference with him and Tonks was their wing backs. They're not wide players or wingers playing as wing backs. So I think positionally, because they're both young, weren't they? They may get found out at times, but they attacked and tracked like defenders rather than like wingers playing at wing backs. So yeah, I thought Carson was very good. I thought for me, Threlkel was man of the match. I know he got the sponsors man of the match, and I know the Talky Talk article was Musa, but I mean Threlkel is just what you need. If you look at how much went past him, nothing. He was the shield. He won tackles. He played the simple pass. He bombed forward when he could as well. He just looks like the sort of player that you need to keep fit, because I think he's the sort of player that he can play, 90% of the games. He just looks like that experienced head who knows what he's doing. He
quietly took charge of the game, I think, today, but he didn't really make a huge impact visually.
No,
he quietly took charge, and as you said, he kept the ball well, so that made it different.
He's so good. He's such a good player.
And as we discussed, Musa. Yeah, I mean, Musa looks quality, doesn't he? I mean, I think I watched him at Tiverton the week before, and I know you were there, Clive, then that day as well. And there'll be days when he'll frustrate the life out of you, and he'll do things that go get on the Moose. And there'll be days when he'll frustrate you, and there were times. And I do worry as well, because it happened a couple of times on Saturday. I wonder if his brain will be a bit quicker than everyone else's at times. There were a couple of passes where you thought, "Oh, hang on, but actually, if you could see him kind of pointing, go because he'd seen it, but no one else had. But yeah, I mean that little quick feet and dive. If he'd have stick that in the top corner, I mean, crikey, it's been goal of the century. But
his first
so many positives.
His first touch looks the best we've seen since probably Armani Little was here, or Conor Lemonade, because he could just suddenly take the touch forward, and suddenly he was on the attack. He didn't go sideways. He went to move forward.
Yeah. And he wanted the ball, didn't he? He wanted the ball everyone was like, here, me, and he wants to. So I mean, you get the impression, and as we've already touched on there, those crosses, but from both sides as well. Because I'm a big fan of an in-swinger, because out-swingers that a lot of times are quite pointless because they end up kind of chipped in. But they were whipped in. It's they will score goals, just one contact, bang, someone gets ahead across somebody. So yeah, it just looks like a really.
It was notable for that first goal, especially that ball kept coming to the edge of the penalty area, because Enfield were all going back. So that kept on coming to the edge, and usually we had a guy there. That's where you can get your goals sometimes. The
second phase is so important in football, and there's nothing more annoying Like last season, we play a long ball and then no one will go for the second ball. But like for second phase from corners, that's where the first goal obviously came from. You know, every time they headed out, we were there, and that's so important. Paul Watson, it showed already and the assistant, such a clever management team. It's all Dino, obviously, player coach, but it's
just being on the front foot, isn't it? It's that attitude. The thing my takeaway with Musa at the moment is this is a squad that's built on hard work and good attitude and everyone together. And he's the one. Yeah. He's going to be a difference maker. He's not a luxury player, I don't think, but he's the one that's going to have license to, you know, play the reverse pass, you know, do the funky stuff, because he's got 10 blokes around him who are you know, sweating their backsides, really.
I totally agree. I totally agree. And it's
so important. It's going to be interesting watching him, isn't it? Because, you know, it like gets to winter time, it's more difficult for these players to get in the game and influence things. So early season, he should be able to get involved in good pitches and make a real influence on things.
He could be gone though, couldn't he? Either, you know, he doesn't settle and he wants away, or a League Two club has a look at him and says, you know, makes us an offer that is difficult to refuse. So I would love to see him, you know, be here for the duration and win the league for us. But we perhaps have to just bear in mind that we might have to enjoy him whilst we've got him.
Yeah, no, I agree. And same with, you know, that's going to happen here. And that's a sign of we're getting good players. You know, when players actually leave and moving on quickly, that's a sign. And I trust the recruitment. Now, a few things, very brilliant points from all of us. I was thinking Hassani as well. That somewhat slips under everyone's radar, but actually, because obviously when Musa came in, it took the shine away from him maybe. But when he came on, I thought he was a really clever player as well.
He was very good. Yeah, I was very impressed.
That ball he made.
That pass for Ash,
that is like something from a Championship or League One player. Everyone watching that will think, oh, he's just going to shoot. But to see that ball that no one else really sees, that shows he's a really important player.
He feinted right and then did the little pass.
Really clever player. We knew it was going to be like that. We hoped he'd be like that. A few other things I'd like to point out will benefit us. Obviously, the new sub rule where we can make 5 subs in 3 stoppages. I'm all for that. But as many people point out, it's going to benefit teams like Torquay who have the squad to do that. But Paul Watson used it magnificently. All the subs were perfect. I hate managers who just wait until the 75th minute. Like he changed that game the 53rd minute. I think the first sub when he needed to, because the second half, let's be honest, we were conked out. I feel like the game plan probably would have been pass it, build it up for 20 minutes, go for it more at the end of the first half. Because we went 1-0 down, we didn't panic. But we had to be a little bit more intense. And also, it's a very hot day, first game of the season. The second half was very good game management. It was a different, Torquay teams would always lose concentration. And we could see stupid goals in last season all the time. But they're so when I was watching it from the Salzburg and the Pot sides, they were so switched on. It was like when you watch Championship or League One football on the sides and players really got that mentality. They were really on it, all of them. Obviously, Sam Joe, we're going to praise him every week this year. But he was incredible. Everyone was brilliant, but he is so good, that block. And James Heyman, I love a keeper that's commanding. It's not just keepers who save shots, that save was brilliant. It's keepers who come out a few times in the last 10 minutes and just claim the ball under pressure, chance prevention. Other few things I was thinking, obviously, with the wing backs, as Chris is saying, now as Mark White was on our It's All Gone South podcast the other day, talking about 3-5-2, it's very popular now. You will lose the kind of the tricky winger that doesn't track back. They're a genre that will be gone in football for a bit, I think, because people were worried, where's the flair going to come from? Well, actually, the flair doesn't really come from the wings now. That's more hard work and fit people who are going up and down all day. The flair comes from your Musas in the centre of the park. And that actually works a bit better because when you've got, remember we had Kalana and you're just going down one side then. But if you've got him in the centre of the park, he can pick it up wherever. And I agree totally what Clive was saying, where it's like he can just win you games and he's different. The one thing is, and we mentioned Armai a little, is I remember loads of times people go, he's wasted the ball. It's just because the other players, we say, weren't quite on the wavelength. And I don't think it's the case here because everyone's really well structured.
He will lose the ball a few times because
that's because he's sometimes, as you said, he's mentally probably a lot further ahead.
Just hope he's got stronger hamstrings than Armani had.
No, Christ. So they've seemed to be better the last few years, though, thankfully for Armani. But
yeah. I think as well, someone else that struck me just talking about the wing backs as well, Swanee, was that you think the amount of times we discussed early last season, especially, but the amount of times we talked about in behind that gap between but again, that's just what I was just saying before, because when you got, last year we had Stobbs and De Silva and people like that. It's no wonder they didn't know what was happening behind them. The structure of the back three was also much wider, because the key with the back three, of course, is that they compress when it's coming down the middle, but they stretch when it's coming down the sides. So you can trust your fullbacks, but the centre backs is pulled across. The only thing that I noticed and that's where Bristow's bench is so good in terms of the overall view of the game you get. We'll have to watch ourselves kind of structurally against the better sides, because the clear plan was, certainly when they had the ball out from the back, was kind of press slow, go, 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 go. And then the three midfield players, so more than one occasion, ended up ahead of the ball. When they got out of the press and we didn't get them back in, the three midfield players ended up ahead of the ball, which then meant the space in behind those three midfield players and in front of the centre backs was quite a large area. So sides with better quality might well be able to exploit that.
I guess Enfield didn't have much pace, did they?
They didn't, no. And other sides that can break quickly on us. And then you've got, Musa I thought worked pretty hard, but he's not he's a hard working kind of, Threlkeld, for example. I thought Threlkeld and Hayfield and Musa got back quite well. I also thought Roddy Collins, when he came on, not the biggest in the world, but three of those long throws, and he was up, bang, ahead of everyone. And again, he looks like a sort of workman-like player as well, who is going to have an important part. But yeah, I just think the whole setup, as you've already said, it looked like they all knew what they were doing. At times last year, it was just kind of like, right, that's where you're playing off, you go and do it. Yeah. But they just knew what they were doing, didn't they? They trusted in each other and knew what they were doing.
Last season, a player like Lewis Collins had no idea where his place was in the squad last season. Where am I going to be playing? Oh, it could be left wing back, it could be attack, it could be venture midfield. He didn't have a clue, did he? Where all these guys look like they know exactly what their role is in the squad, and Hassani came on and instantly looked comfortable just behind the strikers. I was very impressed with him. He moved well, he was confident getting into space, he made some nice passes, as you said, so he can be a real he'll be pushing for a first team place with that sort of ability. So.
And all the subs that influenced the game, didn't they? Like young Crosby came on, worked hard, won a couple of headers, held the ball up in the corner. Seymour looked lively, took that chance well offside, but again, I still haven't seen any of those players who I've looked at in the games I've seen. You look at every year, there's a couple of players you think, not sure we've signed them, why we've signed them, but all of them look like they're going to have a role to play. And there's no one who you think, we don't have to bring him on. They all just look really good.
I totally agree.
All keen and motivated, aren't they? All keen and motivated to be here, and they're happy to be here. So.
The one player who maybe it's always when you have your debut and you lose the ball to a goal. I think Dan Hayfield will come good over time. Definitely, I think he's a very good player. I just like to see
worked hard again though. Overall,
he works so hard. I just want to see him in his game a little bit more. I think at times, but he's got a certain role in the team, and I thought he really responded well to. It wasn't solely his fault, that goal, of course, but it's not what you want on your debut, is it? Of course not. But I think he will come in with the free kicks and that really assertive game over time. Take a few more risks over time, I think, but that's his role. His role will be, to kind of be like that. But I think that's the difference, isn't it? There's a clear formation and plan, and then there's the roles within that, and then everyone who plays in that role. If you're playing on the left wing back, whether it is, or the left central midfielder, you are this midfielder. Does that make sense? If Roddy Collins comes on and playing that role, it's so well thought out. He's got these roles in his head. He's signed players for those roles. And I'm just and a lot of it. Look, we still don't actually know where we're going to be. I mean, of course we can be right up there this season, but I think for me with football, it's always like be the best you can be tactically set up. Not every manager gets it right all the time. Be sensible and feel like you're playing to a plan. And that's what has annoyed me for a lot of years now. But we are, and I feel like that's important. We're getting the most out of our setup.
I think players at this level need to know their roles as well, don't they? Because they are limited in the Bed Sea a little bit because they are National League South. So if they know what their role is in the squad and they're happy with it, makes such a difference. So.
Yeah,
What did you
no,
make of the two up front? We haven't spoken about them yet.
Yeah, I thought Cook
good.
Cook works hard. Cook works hard. I mean, he's going to be one of the first names on the team sheet. He's big, strong, held the ball up. Well, he got zero protection from the referee as well. He got battered pretty much the whole time, which is part of the game, but they went too far at times with very little. But they were quite a physical side in general, weren't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, but I thought, and again, Ash just at times, I think last year we said more than once, Ash looks like the kind of player who, in a better team, would look more confident. He just looked confident, didn't he?
Yeah.
Took his goal well, considering he, 5'10" bloke or wherever he is in the middle of the penalty
Good
area on his
header.
own. Good header, worked hard,
Brilliant.
should have scored, could have scored at the end of the first half, should have scored towards just before he went off in the second half, and
It's
just
so
looked,
Brad Ash, isn't it?
3-8
I
chances,
love a goal.
and I think he'll score. But yeah, and again, but the other two lads that came on as well looked like they knew what they were doing as well.
Brad Ash looked still like the Brad Ash from last year, and that's nothing against him really, but he's not that clinical. He'll miss a great chance. He'll get another one. He ran his socks off. He'll get the ball. Probably take too many touches.
He's a really important
He won't
player
change
to have.
now, will he? He's that kind of player, but he will work hard for you, and that's so important. Because Cook's a little bit limited mobility-wise, isn't he? I mean, he does try hard, but he's not the quickest, is he? I noted that on Saturday. So you've got to play off of him and be busy. So it's
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel Brad Ash, yeah, he took his hardest chance. It's such a great poacher's instinct. And the other two, almost maybe they had too much time to think, and then he kind of.
I was just about to say, Swanee, he strikes me again last season as an instinctive striker. Give him a chance where he's just got to swing at it, he'll take it. But give him too long to think about it, and he can kind of convince himself it won't go in at times.
Well, he had that chance from an angle, didn't he? He was never going to pass that shot. Then was he? Because Cook was waiting for the pass.
It was marked. He was
marked
marked pretty well, though. Yeah.
And he was on a hat trick in his head at that moment as well. So
yeah, but no, he was yeah, no, I really like Ash. I think he's going to be important, and I also like how after he missed a couple of chances, he sort of get a bit tired. That was it. It was a great sub to bring on. And that's why we signed 4 strikers this year, not spend £1 million almost and only have 2. This makes sense really when you look at it, really, don't you? So
amazing,
900 grand, and you've got nobody to bring off the bench.
Nobody on the bench.
And the ones on the pitch aren't
into
good.
a director of football's job. It's just madness. I don't know.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's absolutely crazy.
And he had the cheek to start supporters last year. I mean,
that was all our fault, mate. Yeah, absolutely.
Also, Clive, because you weren't there, it was also refreshing to see 4th officials back at our level as well this season, just getting moaned at by pretty much everyone continually the entire game.
Yeah, Mark,
that's good to see that back.
Right on that. I didn't know that there were 4th officials, but he's all over that. So he'll be great value in a couple of weeks' time at playing.
They've extended it now to step 5, So from step 5 to step 6 now as well. So from the football league, So so it's that was great to see. Yeah.
A little word on Enfield. I thought they had plenty of spirit as a team.
Yeah, I think they'll be all right this season.
Yeah.
They're amazing away following for this level, and I think they'll be all right this season. Hard-working team. I think they'll be okay this season.
They didn't leave anything on the pitch. The people who were coming off sub were absolutely knackered, Chris, weren't they? Rosy cheek.
They worked hard, and actually, I thought at half time, hoped that given because it's first game, hot, full time. So as their manager alluded to after the game, we've kind of we've gone with a full time team for 90 minutes. I hope they might tire, but they didn't, did they? They kept. And again, I mean, how deflating would it have been if they'd managed to get one near the end? Because they didn't look like scoring. They hadn't really troubled us in the second half. But if you don't take that opportunity to go too clear, like we didn't on several occasions, it only takes that. And having watched it back, I mean, their bloke he's had a swing at it twice, and 4 yards out. He's had 2 such good chances and not taking it.
It's a good story as well, Enfield Town, because I didn't know the background, but they're a Phoenix club. The Enfield that knocked us out the FA Cup a few years ago don't exist anymore, but the fans got together and they got it going again. They've come a long way.
Yeah.
So they were delighted, A, to be in our league, and B, to be running out at Plainmoor. You have to say it. A lot of the teams in this league, we are their cup final. I mean, that's an awful thing to say because it makes us sound like, Billy Big Balls, doesn't it? But it's true. It's true. And I was really, really happy for them. I replied to a tweet from their owner, I think, and a lot of them were very complimentary about playing more on Torquay. It's nice stuff.
Yeah, no, I think I always have this thing, right? Obviously you hate it when your team concedes, but the one consolation, I want to see the away end go. I know they call it limbs these days, but I want to see the away end go mad. Yeah, I want to see limbs, right? Yeah. And they did, but you could tell by their. I can tell because I've seen Torquay concede a lot of these, so I know what I know what like an away sound. It was very much like oh my god, we scored, let's go mental, like a surprise goal. And you could tell by the noise, like it was like, and as much as I'm like, I saw a video of it back, and I'm like, that will stay with those fans forever, and I'm happy with one. So I can be more nice about it now. But I'm like, no, that's what football's about. And we're not going to have it our own way at all. And it was a lovely goal. I really love crosses and headers, so that's my sort of goal. But I really was more proud of how Torquay responded that day. And I'm very, very proud of Torquay in general right now.
It was a day of celebration, wasn't it? I think it was a day of celebration to enjoy and
with a win.
We won it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
We'll talk quickly about Farnborough. As we're talking now, we've just released that episode recorded last week before I went on holiday with the Farnborough pod, who, as if for those watch it, will say they've predicted them to finish higher. I went nice. I was like, I think you're going to come 7th. And they went, we think you're going to come 8th. I was like, cheers. They have a strong squad though, and they've got a really good story. Talk about Phoenix Club in Enfield. They've got a really good story. So appreciate them coming on. It'd be a tough game, you know what? In a way, a draw would be a decent result, and a win would be absolutely brilliant, I think. If we win at Farnborough, they've got a lot of good players, and I think that sends a real big message out, especially if we end up with, I don't know, 8 to 10 points on the first 4. That's really impressive. Let's be realistic here. It's a brand new squad still. We've beaten Enfield. A lot of people still think it's a mid-table squad or upper top half. So we've got to be realistic in these first couple of years. But if we get a decent result,
I'm going to disagree with you there. I'm going to disagree with you there. I think we're going to take a big following. I think we're going to take a big following to Farnborough on Saturday. I think as long as we earn the right in the first 20 minutes, I think we play them off the park, quite honestly.
We have the potential to. We have the potential to, 100%.
I think Bath and Dorking are banana skins, and I know Farnborough have signed some good footballers, but I really fancy us on Saturday.
Of course we can do that. And I'm totally with you, Clive. Like, the thing is, I think I'm so used to seeing Torquay turn out with a big crowd and then bottle it, like Western Superman and all those teams last year. And I just think it's more about managing the game, and I do believe Paul Watson. You're totally right. If we manage the occasion, in the second half against Enfield, if we do that, keep the ball in the first 20 minutes, maybe get an early goal and manage it, we will. But I think it's a big test for the team, and it will really be a good test of how far we've come. Because I agree with you, we can use us being Torquay United to our benefit, definitely this year, rather than being something that's an easy target to be a vulnerable target to be shot at, if that makes sense, like last couple of years. Dom, any thoughts?
Farnborough are more fancy than Bath, so I think the first game is probably the tougher one, I'd have thought. But they did win on Saturday, didn't they? So it's a tough one. I feel a bit more apprehensive than you, Clive, but I might take a draw up there, and then we beat Bath on the Tuesday. So I'd take 4 points out of those 2 games, perhaps. Yeah, being a bit more conservative and boring, perhaps.
Yeah.
And then we got Dorking after that, wouldn't they? So it's a good trio of matches. Yeah,
I'm confident going there. I think we need to. I think not quite a statement win, but I think we need to go there and show that actually we're the side that people need to worry about. Which I think you can do. Our home form needs to be solid, but your away form at times is almost kind of what gets you kind of the success, isn't it? Because you need to go to these games and win. But I agree with what Clive's saying. In a lot of away games in any level, you need to go and manage the situation, get the first 20 minutes done. Don't go 1-0 down in the first 5 minutes again. But as Paul wanted after the game, the best part was the players reacted. So if it does happen, they can't panic and make sure that they keep following. Trust the process, as they like to say nowadays. But I think we there's no doubt we've got the players to go anywhere and win this division. But we've got to go there and prove that we can and are good enough.
Chris,
It's a good test of the
these?
defence as well.
Do you need Chris?
And it's
Chris
blinding.
needs
So
some sunglasses.
I can either go up and pull the curtain across, or I can keep doing this. What do you want me to do?
We're fine. We're almost at the end, and audio listeners will be like, "Oh, it's fine. We're okay."
Yeah.
And yes, you can listen to us on Spotify now if we haven't plugged that enough. But yeah, and
You keep moving, and the sun keeps moving.
I know it's following me. I swear it is.
You won't be seeing. You'll be missing out on Chris getting blinded, and then
It's like something for the Fantastic Four, or whatever it is.
Where is he? I can't see.
right. Okay. Should we do predictions then? Going into unless we've got anything else to talk about. I think we covered it well. All right. So we do Farnborough first. So Chris, Farnborough.
2-0 Torquay.
Cool. Dom.
1-1.
I was going to do that.
That's
Clive.
1-0 Torquay.
Oh, you were going to blaze of glory.
Tommy was more positive than you. Tommy couldn't join us. He said 3-1 Torquay, didn't he?
I'm going to go for 2-2. As Dom took me 1-1. Right, Bath. Chris, what do you reckon?
Draw 1-1.
Dom.
2-1 to Torquay.
Oh.
I'll go 1-1. I'm actually going to match you there.
You did draw for everything, Swanee, or what?
Yeah.
Are they a bogey team up there? I'll say Bath 2-1 just to be different.
There you go. We didn't ask Tom for on that, but I'm sure we put it on Twitter. So
you were so optimistic 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, but he's at Bath now. He's probably not going to Bath, but he's going to Farnborough. So he wants to have a good day when he goes.
I shall be at both games.
I
think we'll win on Saturday. I think we might be pushing our luck to do it back to back. But I can't wait for Dorking already. Sorry, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but that's such a big game, isn't it?
Yeah. Take a defeat at Bath to beat Dorking, is it, Clive?
Possibly. Yeah, possibly.
Win them all.
It will be great. But yeah, no, it's exciting time. I'm just looking forward, even though obviously football leagues in general kick in here and there, but I just enjoy watching this team play.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just enjoy going to the games. I enjoy getting behind it. I felt like I was behind the team. I love having that slightly embarrassing level of competitiveness when the Enfield keeper was quite rightly saying that goal was offside. I was like, no, you really not, go away, back in your box. You concede him 3 in a minute. Yeah, and he's a good keeper, but I enjoy that coming back out in me. I haven't had that in years.
It's the feel you've got when you like everybody, and you like everybody who's at the club, and you want to get behind everybody. It's a nice feel.
Yeah, and it was good to see that my annual line of you forget. I say to my dad every year, usually quite early in the season, but it was the first day this year. You say you forget that feeling of nerves in your stomach when you're winning near the end, and you don't want us to, you don't want to bugger it up. And I managed to hit my dad with a "God, I hate football" line on the first day of the season this year. At some point early on, normally, but I was like, you forget what this is like. Oh, just blow the bloody whistle.
Yeah.
I think only one thing I've say about the first game. If we'd won it 4 or 5-1, and suddenly everybody gets overconfident, and suddenly we're going to piss the league, and all that luck comes out from it. So maybe
2-1 is better.
Maybe that 2-1 does us a bit of a favour.
It's a tactical masterclass by Paul Whitton. He did it on purpose. He said to our strikers, he said, lads, look, we can see you've got in a position, just miss. That's what Brad
no one wants to see you score 5. They don't.
No one wants to see you score 5.
Forget what positivity felt like.
Yeah, it's great thinking that our strikers are the best in the league. It's great thinking that I just missed it. That's what the best thing about football. Even though if you don't actually think it, having that overconfidence, that's what it is. Obviously, I haven't predicted 2 draws, but you know what I mean. That over, you can do this. Everyone can do everything. I loved it, and that's what football's about.
I'm as positive as I am blinded right now.
Yeah, exactly. Blinded by it. So I think just to get to get Chris out of the sun, so he isn't burning away, I think we're going to call it to a close. Thank you for watching this. Something makeshift, as I said, on my behalf. We're back to my bedroom where I spend most of my life with my professional lighting actually behind it, not kind of on the side on a drinks bottle. I feel like Chris. I feel like Chris right now.
Yeah, so, he even takes his professional lighting on holiday. So do I. Mine's free though.
The Chris didn't cost £5 off Amazon.
No, mine's free.
It might catch fire every time I use it. Someone can use it a couple hours at a time. So there we are. So thank you so much for watching and listening.
It's a low-key finish, isn't it? That's a bit of lighting chat for the podcast.
Yeah,
come on.
That's what we're going to work on Spotify, is it?
No,
Chris's face just reminds me that we should People can listen on Spotify. I think.
Yeah,
That's amazing. But
I'll see as much. I'll see as much listening it back on
We've
Spotify.
all, got, we've all got faces for radio, guys. I reckon.
but yeah, thank you so
Speak for
much.
yourself.
I very much
Thanks
am
so-
speaking for myself, Tom. Yeah.
Thank you so much for all the support we've had. Also, we've gone to a bit of a broader audience with everything. And I've put a lot of my educational holiday time into. I literally spent so many hours preparing things, so it's nice to see things back.
One last thing. Can I do
Yeah, go
one
on.
last thing?
Yeah.
Farnborough last year became quite famous for that banner.
Yes,
The
go on.
club is ours.
Yeah.
Slightly iconic in Torquay United circles, but it's Burundi flags, I believe, on Saturday. So obviously,
Nice.
Musa, the Moose, plays his international football for Burundi, and I know for certain that people have been sourcing supportive flags to get behind him. They're predominantly green and red, and it's going to be an interesting. I think the atmosphere,
full
honestly,
circle.
the atmosphere is going to be unbelievable in the away.
Full circle.
And everyone's geography's getting better because I'd never seen a Burundi flag till now, Clive, till you showed it me on social media.
No, it's educational,
beautiful, isn't it?
Chris.
It's lovely,
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
For us
yeah,
uneducated
stuff, yeah.
English
Yeah.
people who only think they know everything but know nothing,
Yeah.
and we can't actually speak more than one language, unlike many other, then we now know. So we've been
He
educated.
doesn't play for them, does he?
Sort
So he
of
misses
educated.
games, does he?
No, he does here and there. He's been out of the squad for a bit recently.
Yeah, I believe so.
But he has been playing
No.
for him. So yeah, we're going to be great buzzing for it when we actually lose him for a bit. But yeah,
I'll be
we'll so happy
Burundi
about
till they're
them.
playing.
Yeah, yeah, so they're playing. Can you not pick it, please? Can we get games postponed for
It's in the Great
international
Lakes
football?
region of Africa. It borders Rwanda, DR
Yeah.
Congo, and a couple of other
Well,
countries.
You have been
It's had
doing
its
you have been doing
problems.
your research.
Yeah, no, it's had its problems. Was run by the Germans and then the Belgians, so that's bad luck for them, really.
And they think we just talk about football on here.
Yeah, we've all got a geography legend.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's been a long day.
We're polymaths.
I've been 5 hours on a motorway today, so just to rush to do Talky Talk and then have a geography lesson. So you get everything on this podcast.
Yeah.
There we go. I think you've made it more uplifting. Well done, Clive. Well done. That's what we bring you on
Thanks,
for.
mate.
So there we are. Thank you for watching. We'll be back to normal service next week after the Bath game. So yeah. So we'll see you then.
Bath.
Bath. How do you say it?
I'm Bath.
Well, I'm from Leicester originally, so I say Bath. So there we go. There we go. Thanks for watching. See you next week.
Here's Hargreaves, chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. If he stays on side, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Sells.
That was great. That was great.
Like a
It's
very
actually-
sheep or something.